We're looking at the nature of business activity and looking at the scale of businesses. So the three different scales that you have to know about are local. These could be found on your high street, just independent shops. They're usually one shop or one site selling to a very small geographical area. National scale, this would be multiple shops in one country though, just national. So I've got a photo here of NISA or NISA, local, not too sure how you say it. And we find these in all areas all over the country. And then finally, global scale. So this would be a business that's operating in multiple different countries, many different sites. So here's a past paper question. It's about Jenna, who has opened up a small gift and souvenir shop. And the question, very simple, which of the following best describes the scale of operation? So she's got one shop, it's just in her local area, so that one would be local. There's a slightly more complicated question that you might get on the exam, which is the consequences and opportunities of operating at different scales, so local, national and global. Now this is a funny area because it appears twice. It appears here right at the beginning of the course, but also in external influences when we're just looking at global marketplaces. So you may get a much longer question on that, and I will tackle that in another video looking at globalization. But if we're looking at the different sizes, the differences between these markets, so the size of the market in terms of the number of customers they're selling to, local scale, obviously small, global scale, it's the whole wide world, so very large. Competitors, fewer on a local scale, many competitors on a global scale. You're competing globally, loads of international, multinational companies all over the world. It doesn't mean though, my students have debated here when we're looking at local scale, that there would be fewer competitors, but there might be quite ferocious competition. If we think about takeaways in towns and cities, they tend to be located near other takeaways. So you might have quite a lot of competition over prices and products and those types of things, but there will be fewer of them. Transport costs in the local scale are going to be very low, probably sourcing more of your materials quite locally, whereas global scale is going to be expensive, transporting goods and services all over the world. If you're exporting, it could be that you're manufacturing different components, different parts of your products in different countries, bringing them all together. Communications, very simple at a local scale, but much more difficult in a global scale. Also language barriers as well. You're going to get more foreign languages when you're operating at a global scale. Economies, so local scale is just one local area, so you don't really need to think about that. Nationally, regional variations. Think about the NISA, NISA, little supermarkets. They're going to maybe have slightly different products that sell better in some areas than others. I'm just thinking about people living in the south maybe have different tastes to people living in the northwest. Global scale, everything's going to differ. The different incomes, the exchange rate changes as well, can make importing and exporting more or less favourable. There's going to be different taxes. There's also going to be globally very different cultures, very different laws to adhere to. In a local scale, there's going to just be one. Now, the laws in the UK are all the same, so the law won't make any difference whether you're in a national scale. All the shops will be under the same law. However, you might have regional variations. When I mentioned before, the nicer supermarkets might sell slightly different products in different stores. And that's it.